He thinks he knows it all, but there are 9 fundamental Sigma truths he'll never understand. These aren't some trendy buzzwords. These are the foundations that separate the truly self-sufficient from the ones stuck in the ordinary. Stay with me, because once you see what makes a Sigma female different, you'll never apologize for it again. Look, in a world that worships loud personalities and fake confidence, the Sigma female walks her own path. She's calm, she's private, she doesn't chase validation, and that alone makes her magnetic. Today, we're breaking down what really sets her apart and why the wrong guy will never get it. Because being a Sigma woman isn't about being cold, it's about knowing your worth without needing anyone to confirm it. Here's the problem. We've been told for years that only certain types of women, bubbly, soft, overly available, get attention. But the Sigma female breaks that mold completely. She's not playing the game, she's rewriting it. And while the wrong man will feel confused or even intimidated by that, the right one, he'll recognize her energy instantly. Okay, here are 9 things the wrong man will never understand about a Sigma female one. Her silence isn't weakness. It's strength disguised as calm. A Sigma female doesn't talk just to be heard. She talks when it matters. In a world that can't stop shouting, her quiet confidence unsettles people who mistake noise for power. But silence is her power. It's how she observes, understands, and controls her own energy. She doesn't rush to fill awkward pauses because she's comfortable with herself. She doesn't chase validation through constant chatter. When she speaks, every word carries weight because it's been thought through. People might misread her quiet as shyness, but it's not. It's control. It's her way of saying, I don't need to prove anything. The wrong man will never understand this. He'll mistake her calm for indifference, her stillness for boredom, and her silence for lack of interest. But here's what he doesn't see. While he's talking to impress, she's reading him like an open book. Sigma females don't waste energy explaining themselves to people who aren't ready to understand them. They save that energy for things that actually matter. Their silence is full of intention. It's a filter that separates people who genuinely care from those who only want attention. A Sigma female's quiet nature doesn't mean she's passive. It means she's selective. She knows that the loudest person in the room isn't always the smartest. She values observation over interruption. She studies patterns, behaviors, and energy. She listens, not just to what's said, but to what's left unsaid. That's her edge. Her silence allows her to see through people's masks. She notices tone, hesitation, and inconsistency. She can sense when someone's pretending. That awareness gives her power most people overlook. The wrong man, trapped in ego, will try to pull her into constant conversation, thinking he can break her quiet. But he won't, because she's not trying to win a debate. She's mastering her own peace. When she chooses to speak, it's never random. Every word is rooted in truth and purpose. That's why people remember what she says. Her silence also protects her from emotional chaos. She doesn't react impulsively. She doesn't argue just to prove she's right. She steps back, observes, and moves when it's necessary. That kind of emotional discipline is rare, and it makes her intimidating to those who rely on drama for connection. The Sigma female's silence also carries mystery. People want to know what she's thinking. They lean in, they guess, they overanalyze, and that's the beauty of it. She never reveals everything. She doesn't owe anyone her thoughts, her plans, or her feelings. Her silence keeps her unpredictable, and unpredictability keeps her powerful. The wrong man can't handle that kind of woman because he confuses transparency with trust. But a Sigma female knows trust is earned, not demanded. So she watches quietly until she knows who deserves access to her world. Her silence, then, isn't a lack of voice. It's the sound of self-control, boundaries, and wisdom. She doesn't need to speak to be understood. She just needs to exist. So, quick check. Do you ever find yourself draining energy on people who don't deserve it? Hit that like button if you relate, and drop a comment about the hardest boundary you've had to set. Now let's move on to something even more interesting. 2 Sigma females value peace over drama. They protect their energy like it's sacred because it is. To them, peace isn't just a mood, it's a lifestyle. It's the space where they think clearly, grow stronger, and connect with themselves. If something threatens that peace, they'll walk away. No shouting, no scene, no second thoughts. They don't argue to prove a point or fight to be right. They know peace is more valuable than being understood by the wrong person. Some might call it cold, but it's not cold, it's clarity. Sigma females have learned that drama drains, distracts, and destroys focus. They don't have time for chaos disguised as passion. They've been through enough to know that not every battle deserves their energy. When someone tries to pull them into unnecessary conflict, they simply step back. Silence and distance are their boundaries. They'd rather be misunderstood for leaving than be emotionally exhausted from staying. They don't believe in fixing people who don't want to grow. They don't chase closure or validation. They've mastered the art of detachment, not because they don't care, but because they care too much about their own well-being. Sigma females know the cost of peace, and they're willing to pay it every time. If a relationship, friendship, or situation becomes toxic, they'll quietly remove themselves. No drama, no warning, just gone. People often mistake this for arrogance, but it's actually self-respect. They've learned that peace feels better than attention. A Sigma female won't waste hours explaining why she's leaving or begging someone to treat her right. She'll just choose herself. That calm decision is what unsettles others the most. She doesn't react emotionally, she acts intentionally. She knows emotions are temporary, but peace is permanent if protected. Even in love, Sigma females don't cling. If a partner starts bringing stress instead of support, they detach without hesitation. They'd rather be alone in peace than together in chaos. They don't play emotional tug-of-war. They don't compete, manipulate, or beg. They observe, assess, and decide. Their peace isn't negotiable. It's their foundation. They keep their circle small because not everyone understands the value of quiet. They'd rather have a few calm, genuine souls than a room full of noise. And when life gets heavy, they don't look for distractions. They go inward. They sit with their feelings, process them, and let go. That's why Sigma females seem unbothered by what would shake others. They don't escape through drama, they heal through stillness. The wrong man will never get this. He'll think her distance means she's losing interest, but in truth, she's just protecting her peace. She's choosing silence over chaos, reflection over reaction, solitude over toxicity. That's not weakness, it's wisdom. A Sigma female doesn't need to win arguments. She wins by staying calm, walking away, and keeping her spirit intact. That's real strength, the kind that never has to shout to be heard. And hey, if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now, because we're just getting started. All right, here's the next truth that the wrong man will never understand. 3. She's not antisocial, she's selective. There's a big difference. People often get it wrong because they think being social means always being available, always smiling, always talking. But that's not how a Sigma female moves. She's not afraid of people. She just doesn't need to be around everyone. She can light up a room, sure, but she doesn't need to. She knows her worth doesn't depend on how many friends she has or how loud her presence is. Her energy is rare, and she treats it like currency. She chooses who deserves her time, her attention, and her space. That's power. When she walks into a room, she reads the vibe before she speaks. She doesn't jump into every conversation or follow every crowd. She observes, she feels, she decides, and if it doesn't feel real, she'll quietly step back. She's not being rude, she's protecting her energy. She knows not everyone deserves access to her mind or her heart. A Sigma female's selectiveness isn't about being superior, it's about being aware. She's learned that giving too much of herself to the wrong people leaves her drained, so she keeps her circle small but strong. The people she does let in know they're there for a reason. They've earned that trust. They've shown loyalty, depth, and consistency. That's the kind of connection she values, real, raw, and lasting. The wrong man will never understand this. He'll think she's distant or uninterested when really she's just careful. She's not going to open up just because someone wants her to. She opens up when she feels safe, when she knows the energy is mutual. She doesn't do fake small talk, forced smiles, or meaningless interactions. She'd rather be alone with her thoughts than surrounded by shallow company. She's perfectly comfortable in her own presence. That's what makes her different. Most people crave noise and company to fill the silence, but she thrives in solitude. She doesn't need constant validation or attention to feel alive. When she connects with someone, it's intentional. She listens deeply, laughs genuinely, and gives fully, but only when it feels right. Her selectiveness doesn't come from arrogance, it comes from experience. She's been around people who took more than they gave, who drained her with drama, and she learned. Now she protects her space like it's sacred ground. That's why she seems mysterious to outsiders. They can't quite figure her out, and she doesn't mind that. She's not hiding, she's just not performing. Her vibe is calm, confident, and composed. When she does show up, she makes an impact without trying. People feel her presence even when she's quiet. She doesn't chase attention, but she commands it naturally. And that's real power. The Sigma female isn't antisocial. She just understands that not everyone deserves front-row access to her life. Her selectiveness keeps her grounded, focused, and surrounded by peace. It's not isolation, it's self-respect. And that's something few truly understand. 4 Sigma females don't need saving. They never have. They're not waiting for someone to come along and fix their lives or complete their story. They've been writing their own chapters since day one. The wrong guy thinks strength is something you lend them, like it's his job to step in and rescue them from their own independence. But Sigma females have been their own heroes for years. They've fought their own battles, healed their own wounds, and rebuilt themselves more times than anyone knows. They don't wear their strength like a badge. They carry it quietly, through action, through grace, through resilience. When life hits hard, they don't fall apart, hoping someone will catch them. They catch themselves. They've learned that relying too much on others only leads to disappointment. That's not bitterness, it's awareness. Sigma females know that true strength comes from self-trust. They trust their instincts, their decisions, and their ability to adapt. They've been through dark moments where no one showed up to help, and instead of breaking, they grew sharper. They realized they could survive anything as long as they believed in themselves. That's the kind of strength most people can't comprehend. The wrong man often mistakes this independence for stubbornness. He'll say things like, "You never let me help," or "You're too strong for your own good." But what he doesn't understand is that a Sigma female doesn't reject help out of pride. She just doesn't depend on it. She's built her life around self-sufficiency. If someone wants to stand beside her, that's great. But she'll never let anyone stand above her. She doesn't need saving. She needs respect. She values partnership, not possession. She wants someone who understands her strength, not someone who's threatened by it. A Sigma female's independence isn't a wall, it's armor. It protects her peace, her focus, and her purpose. She's not hard to love, she's hard to manipulate. And that's why the wrong guy struggles. He wants to feel needed, but she doesn't need, she chooses. She chooses who adds value to her life. She chooses who gets close. She chooses when to lean in. And when she does, it's not because she's weak, it's because she trusts. That's the difference. The wrong man thinks saving her will make him the hero, but real heroes don't rescue. They respect. They stand beside her, not in front of her. Sigma females have already fought the inner battles most people avoid. They've faced failure, heartbreak, rejection, and loneliness, and they came out smarter, calmer, and stronger. They've built their own peace from chaos. They've learned that needing someone isn't the same as depending on them. The wrong guy may never understand that, but the right one will know. Sigma females don't need saving because they've already saved themselves. What they want now isn't a rescuer. It's an equal, someone who sees their strength and says, "I'm not here to fix you. I'm here to build with you." 5. She loves deeply, not frequently. That's the thing about a Sigma female. Her heart doesn't open easily, but when it does, it's honest, raw, and loyal. She doesn't fall in love every other week because love, to her, isn't a hobby or an escape. It's something sacred. She's not interested in temporary feelings or surface-level connections. When she connects, it's real. She's fully present. She gives her time, her trust, her thoughts, her energy, but only when she feels the depth is mutual. She doesn't chase people. She doesn't beg for attention. She doesn't play mind games to stay relevant in someone's life. Her love is calm, steady, and intentional, not performative. The wrong man often misunderstands this kind of love. He might think she's distant or emotionally unavailable because she doesn't express affection the way others do. But that's not the truth. A Sigma female loves in silence, in actions, in the small things that go unnoticed. She'll support you when no one else does. She'll listen when you're struggling. She'll protect your name when you're not in the room. That's her version of love, loyalty without noise. And when she's in, she's all in. But if you take her for granted, she's gone. She won't fight for attention because she knows love shouldn't have to be begged for. She'll never force it because she knows forcing love only leads to resentment. She believes that love should feel like peace, not a battlefield. That's why she doesn't settle for half-hearted connections. She'd rather be alone than emotionally starved. To her, love isn't about constant communication or public displays. It's about trust, presence, and emotional depth. She values quiet intimacy over loud affection. She doesn't need to be told she's loved 100 times a day if your actions already prove it. She believes in love that grows slowly but roots deeply. That's why she takes her time. The wrong man will see this patience as hesitation, but really, she's protecting her heart. She's not afraid to love, but she's careful about who she gives it to. Once she lets someone in, she's devoted. She'll stand by you, even when things get hard. But the second she feels disrespected, she won't yell, she won't beg, she'll just detach. That's her strength. Her love is not conditional, but her presence is. A Sigma female knows that love doesn't mean losing yourself. It means growing together without controlling each other. She's not impressed by promises. She's impressed by consistency. She doesn't want a fairy tale. She wants honesty. And when she finds that, she gives her best self. She'll nurture, support, and inspire the person she loves. But she'll never tolerate emotional laziness. She expects the same depth she gives. That's what makes her rare. She doesn't need constant reminders of her worth because she already knows it. Her love is rare, intense, and pure. And that's exactly why not everyone deserves it. Before we hit the final point, I want to hear from you. What's one way you've grown recently that others might not notice? Comment below, and if this video is giving you clarity, give it a thumbs up. Okay, last but definitely not least. 6 Sigma females are mysterious because they're focused. Their mystery isn't an act or a mask. It's a byproduct of the way they live. They don't overshare, they don't seek attention, and they don't need the world to validate their progress. While others broadcast their every move, they're out there building in silence. They don't need to announce what they're working on because they're too busy actually doing it. You'll only see the results when they're ready to show them. That's what makes them fascinating to people. They move differently. They're not motivated by recognition. They're driven by purpose. Sigma females don't chase clout, likes, or approval. They've learned that real success doesn't need an audience. They don't crave external validation because they've built internal confidence. Their focus is laser sharp, and that's why they achieve things that others only talk about. They're not mysterious because they're hiding something. They're mysterious because they're protecting something. Their peace, their process, and their plans are sacred. They know that energy flows where attention goes, and they choose to direct that attention inward. The wrong man will often mistake this quiet focus for secrecy or distance. He'll think she's hard to read or emotionally unavailable, but the truth is, Sigma females are simply intentional. They know when to speak and when to stay silent. They don't need to explain their every move to anyone. Their calm, steady rhythm throws off people who thrive on chaos. While others are trying to prove themselves, the Sigma female is out there mastering herself. She invests her time where it counts, in growth, discipline, and goals that matter. She's not easily distracted by gossip, drama, or comparison. She's focused on creating something real, whether it's a business, a career, or a peaceful life. and that quiet consistency builds an aura of mystery around her. People wonder how she does it, how she stays calm, how she always seems to be a few steps ahead. But she's not trying to impress, she's just staying true to her path. The Sigma female understands the value of privacy in a world addicted to exposure. She doesn't flaunt her wins because she doesn't need applause to feel successful. She celebrates quietly, reflects, and keeps moving. When she finally reveals what she's been building, it's not to show off, it's to inspire. That's why her success feels authentic. It's the product of focus, patience, and discipline, not performance. The wrong man might get frustrated trying to figure her out, but that's his mistake. She's not a puzzle to solve. She's a vision unfolding. Her mystery comes from her depth, her ambition, and her ability to stay grounded in a world full of noise. She knows when to retreat and when to rise. And when she finally steps into the spotlight, she does it on her own terms. No warnings, no hype, just results. That's the power of a Sigma female. She doesn't talk about what she'll do. She quietly becomes it. 7. She doesn't chase, she attracts. That's the essence of a Sigma female. Her energy pulls in what's meant for her without her having to run after it. Confidence and independence have a gravity of their own, and she carries both effortlessly. The wrong man won't understand why she doesn't need to pursue anyone, because she is the prize. She's not arrogant about it. She's aware of her value. She knows what she brings to the table, and she refuses to beg for a seat at one that doesn't appreciate her worth. Sigma females don't chase attention because they don't need it to feel validated. Their self-worth isn't built on external approval. They're not trying to impress, compete, or prove anything. They just exist in their truth, and that truth naturally draws people in. When she walks into a room, people notice, not because she's loud, but because her presence feels different. She's grounded, composed, and quietly powerful. She doesn't chase love, opportunities, or recognition. She knows that what's meant for her will align when it's supposed to. That doesn't mean she's passive, it means she's intentional. She takes action where it matters and lets go where it doesn't. The wrong man often mistakes this calm assurance for disinterest. He doesn't get why she's not constantly calling, checking in, or trying to keep his attention. But that's because she doesn't chase approval or fear losing someone who doesn't see her value. A Sigma female doesn't believe in convincing anyone to stay. She believes in alignment, not attachment. If someone truly values her, they'll match her energy. If not, she won't force it. That's what sets her apart. She's not playing games or using manipulation. She simply moves with confidence in her own direction, and that naturally attracts people who respect that energy. Her independence intimidates insecure men because they can't control or predict her. They're used to women who chase validation, but she's too busy chasing goals. She's building, evolving, thriving, and that glow is magnetic. People are drawn to her authenticity because it's rare. She doesn't need to pretend to be someone she's not. She doesn't need to oversell herself or compete for attention. Her calm confidence is the loudest thing in the room. The wrong man will call her too independent, but the right one will call her inspiring. He'll see that she's not distant. She's self-contained. She's not hard to get. She's hard to fool. She doesn't fall for charm. She responds to consistency, and that's why she attracts the kind of energy she deserves. She doesn't chase because she knows chasing lowers her frequency. Instead, she focuses on growth, peace, and authenticity, and everything that aligns with that finds its way to her naturally. A Sigma female's energy says, "I'm whole on my own, but I'll welcome someone who matches my strength." That mindset is irresistible. It's why she doesn't run after people. She simply becomes someone worth running toward. 8. She doesn't chase, she attracts. That's the essence of a Sigma female. Her energy pulls in what's meant for her without her having to run after it. Confidence and independence have a gravity of their own, and she carries both effortlessly. The wrong man won't understand why she doesn't need to pursue anyone, because she is the prize. She's not arrogant about it. She's aware of her value. She knows what she brings to the table, and she refuses to beg for a seat at one that doesn't appreciate her worth. Sigma females don't chase attention because they don't need it to feel validated. Their self-worth isn't built on external approval. They're not trying to impress, compete, or prove anything. They just exist in their truth, and that truth naturally draws people in. When she walks into a room, people notice, not because she's loud, but because her presence feels different. She's grounded, composed, and quietly powerful. She doesn't chase love, opportunities, or recognition. She knows that what's meant for her will align when it's supposed to. That doesn't mean she's passive. It means she's intentional. She takes action where it matters and lets go where it doesn't. The wrong man often mistakes this calm assurance for disinterest. He doesn't get why she's not constantly calling, checking in, or trying to keep his attention. But that's because she doesn't chase approval or fear losing someone who doesn't see her value. A Sigma female doesn't believe in convincing anyone to stay. She believes in alignment, not attachment. If someone truly values her, they'll match her energy. If not, she won't force it. That's what sets her apart. She's not playing games or using manipulation. She simply moves with confidence in her own direction, and that naturally attracts people who respect that energy. Her independence intimidates insecure men because they can't control or predict her. They're used to women who chase validation, but she's too busy chasing goals. She's building, evolving, thriving, and that glow is magnetic. People are drawn to her authenticity because it's rare. She doesn't need to pretend to be someone she's not. She doesn't need to oversell herself or compete for attention. Her calm confidence is the loudest thing in the room. The wrong man will call her too independent, but the right one will call her inspiring. He'll see that she's not distant. She's self-contained. She's not hard to get. She's hard to fool. She doesn't fall for charm. She responds to consistency. And that's why she attracts the kind of energy she deserves. She doesn't chase because she knows chasing lowers her frequency. Instead, she focuses on growth, peace, and authenticity, and everything that aligns with that finds its way to her naturally. A Sigma female's energy says, "I'm whole on my own, but I'll welcome someone who matches my strength." That mindset is irresistible. It's why she doesn't run after people. She simply becomes someone worth running toward. 9. She's not lonely. She's evolving. Solitude isn't scary. She doesn't see being alone as a problem or a weakness. In fact, she seeks it out intentionally because she knows that her most powerful growth happens when she's by herself. While most people panic at the thought of quiet, she embraces it fully, understanding that silence is not emptiness, it's opportunity. Time alone allows her to recharge her energy, reset her mind, and reconnect with her true self without distractions. It's during these moments that she reflects on her life, her choices, and her goals, seeing clearly what truly matters. She processes her thoughts carefully, without needing anyone else to validate them. She doesn't feel incomplete or desperate for company. Instead, she finds comfort in her own presence. The wrong man will never understand this. He sees solitude as a problem to fix, a void that needs filling, a signal that something is wrong. He thinks she must be lonely or unhappy when she spends time alone. But for her, it's the exact opposite. Alone time is freedom. It's her personal space to think, grow, and evolve on her own terms. She uses this time to explore new ideas, learn new skills, and strengthen her independence. Every hour spent in reflection adds layers to her character, deepens her self-awareness, and sharpens her intuition. She doesn't need constant attention or reassurance because she's secure in who she is. She understands her worth and values her own company. Solitude becomes a tool for self-mastery. She sets goals, examines her progress, and adapts as she goes. This is where she becomes stronger than before, both mentally and emotionally. She recognizes patterns in her life, learns from mistakes, and plans her next moves carefully. The wrong man sees all of this as isolation, weakness, or detachment. He cannot comprehend that her quiet moments are intentional and strategic. He fears the idea that she is self-sufficient, that she doesn't depend on him for happiness or validation, but she thrives in it. Solitude is her sanctuary. It allows her to stay centered and balanced, even in chaotic situations. She emerges from these moments of reflection with clarity and purpose. Her energy is restored, her mind is sharp, and her spirit is unwavering. Time alone is not something to endure, it's something she treasures. It's where she finds freedom, where she understands herself, and where she grows into a stronger, more capable version of herself. So, when the wrong man sees her enjoying solitude, he misunderstands it completely. He thinks she's missing something, but really, she's gaining everything. She's evolving, not retreating. She's not lonely, she's becoming more powerful every day. And that evolution is what makes her magnetic, unstoppable, and truly extraordinary. Men are drawn to Sigma females because they can't replicate her independence or her clarity. Her confidence isn't loud or overbearing, it's quiet, steady, and magnetic. It's the kind of confidence that doesn't need validation, approval, or attention from anyone else. Her mystery isn't about playing games, it's about knowing herself deeply, holding her space, and not handing out pieces of her life to just anyone. Her self-respect isn't negotiable. She sets boundaries and expects them to be honored, and that firmness triggers something deep inside men who encounter her. They sense that she operates on a level most people can't reach, and it's both intriguing and intimidating. They're drawn to her because she's real, she's untouchable in her authenticity, and she won't settle for anything less than respect and equality. It's not about chasing her, it's about recognizing the power she already has. Men are not attracted to a Sigma female because they want to control her or change her. They are attracted because they recognize a force they can't create themselves. It's the rare combination of strength, intelligence, independence, and emotional awareness that pulls them in. She doesn't seek attention or approval, yet she commands it effortlessly just by being herself. That's what makes her magnetic. So, what makes Sigma females unforgettable? They're independent, self-aware, and unapologetically themselves. They don't need anyone to complete them, and that authenticity is magnetic. They know their worth and don't bend for validation. They thrive in their solitude, they pursue growth relentlessly, and they move through life with intention and focus. Being around them challenges you to step up, be present, and see the world differently. A Sigma female isn't just attractive, she's inspiring, not because she wants to be, but because her essence simply shines. She doesn't follow trends, she sets her own pace, and she leaves a mark on everyone who crosses her path. If you're a Sigma female, remember, your power isn't hidden, it's your essence. It's the natural way you move through the world, the confidence you carry, and the way you honor yourself in every choice you make. That power is already inside you. It doesn't need permission, and it doesn't need anyone's understanding to be real. I want to hear from you. What's one thing people just don't understand about being a Sigma female? Drop it in the comments, because your voice matters and your experience could inspire someone else. And if you want to explore more about personality types in dating, check out my next video. It's packed with insights that'll totally change how you see relationships. Learning how to navigate connection without losing yourself is key, and understanding personality dynamics can make everything clearer. Stay true, stay powerful, and keep shining, because the world notices authenticity, and Sigma females have it in abundance. Your independence, clarity, and strength aren't just traits. They're your signature, and embracing them fully is what makes you unforgettable, magnetic, and completely unstoppable.